Hey there, Pursuing Freedom friends. Thanks for tuning in today. We've got a great interview today with Tasha Beckman with the Mama Bear team over at Exit Realty DTC in the Denver metro area. And Tasha is the self-proclaimed Mama Bear because she got into the business a couple years ago. She's had huge success, and her success is founded solely on one principle, which is taking care of people. And her job is to protect her clients from start to finish at every move. And we've been chatting here, and I absolutely love her philosophy, and I'm so glad that she's taken the time to be on the show today. So with no further ado, let's just jump right in. So Tasha, tell us a little bit about your backstory. You've been in the real estate industry now for just a few years. So, what was your background like, and how did you end up in this crazy business? And then we can just dig in from there.
Absolutely. So I was in corporate for a little over 10 years. I was VP of Client Services for a tech firm and really got to see kind of that side of the equation of business. But I struggled a bit with the idea that I couldn't be direct with providing answers to clients. I needed to kind of spin stories, and that goes so against my nature that when I was laid off, I had the opportunity to kind of regroup and figure out, what do I want to kind of be when I grow up? And was talking to a friend, and she suggested that I look at real estate. And at first, I really didn't want anything to do with the idea of selling anything. And she was the one that said, okay, hold on, put on the brakes. It's not all about selling. It's about 5% sales. The rest of it is about building relationships, using listening skills, and really truly serving clients for whatever that looks like, right? It could be that it's a seller that needs to sell under a pretty tight time frame, and you're having to put strategy around what that looks like. Or it's a buyer who really doesn't know a whole lot about our area. Colorado is a fantastic state, and we have a lot of lifestyle choices that can match what a buyer is looking for. And so the more I looked at this industry and really understood that I can be my direct self and be brutally honest when needed, it just seemed to resonate with me. And the idea of being able to serve at the end of the day is what drives me, because I'm really about service. It's not about the transaction at all. At the end of the day, I just want to help. I want to serve, I want to help, and if I can do that, I will jump in with both feet.
Well, I love that, and I know now why someone connected you to me, because I always talk about how I just suck at sales, and so I appreciate that perspective and the service-minded approach to doing this business. I do have to ask you, because you got into the real estate industry, you mentioned earlier before we started recording, in 2017, and
Yep.
had really rapid success right out of the gates, which is amazing. I did not have that kind of success right out of the gates. And so I'm curious, how do you get your message out there? Because I meet so many people in our industry that truly are in the business to serve and are here because they love taking care of people, but that struggle with the crossroad of, I'm here to serve, and then letting people know about that, which is a sales piece, even though, I guess I think that's the hardest part of the process. So how did you make sure that people found you so they could experience your level of service?
I've been networking in the Denver metro area since 1989, and networking is a skill set that you develop. You can't just walk in a room and go, oh, I'm networking. You really have to put some thought into an approach. And for me, it's a natural tendency now that I have. So, I've had clients that, I'll give you an example. I was getting my nails done, and the nail tech said, you have scratches all over your arms. Do you have a cat? And I said, no, I was delivering rose bushes to my clients yesterday, just as my quarterly gift to them. And I scratched it up just getting the roses out of my car. And she goes, oh, are you a florist? And I laughed. I'm like, not even kind of. No, I'm a realtor. And she said, oh, and she looked up and she said, do you want to sell my house? And I'm like, is this a trick question? Because that would be yes. Can I help? And so I ended up selling her house for her. So, it was just in a random conversation. I think, in any industry, any business, any job that we have, we just have to be open to not getting caught on scripting all the time. It's really about what life brings you. And if you throw the right energy out into the universe, it's going to come back. You just have to be open to when that opportunity presents itself. You know, I've had friends whose parents have moved here and I've helped them. I've had friends who were retiring and moving out of state and, you know, changing their career, and I've helped them. And it's just really about honing in on the listening skills and the opportunities when they come, because for me, I don't target one particular neighborhood, one particular price point by any stretch of the imagination, or a demographic of a client. You know, it's really about, can I help? And if I can, great. And if I can't, I'll plug them in with someone who can. You know, I've done referrals in other states with other agents, you know, friends that had a son who wanted to buy a townhome in his college community in Tennessee. And so I hooked them up with an agent there. I have friends in Texas and Florida and North Carolina that, you know, it's just really about being open to those conversations and then strategizing on how best to assist.
So it sounds to me like with your experience previously in client services and in other industries coming into real estate, you bring with you a level of confidence and expertise, and like you said, a background in networking and an authenticity, which attracts people to you naturally. So I get that. How about the technical piece of real estate, which is a lot to learn? Did you have a mentor when you joined Exit Realty, or somebody who helped you navigate the ins and outs of the contract and the negotiations? Or, you know, talk to me about how you know, had such quick success.
Well, Exit as an organization just has a lot of training available for the agents that are just starting out, all the way through, you know, a tenured agent that just needs a little bit of updating. Maybe it's, you know, in our annual reviews and things like that. But for me, I plugged into every possible training opportunity there was, whether it was through Exit or through a title company or through a mortgage officer. I mean, every single time I was invited to a training, especially when I first started, you know, my calendar wasn't overly full. So I had all kinds of time to fill. And I did that with training opportunities. So right away, I went and got my real estate negotiations expert training. Last summer, I went to the GRI, which is Graduate Realtor Institute training. There's 15 classes to take to get that certification. So it gives me additional education and knowledge on how better to serve clients as well as my counterparts in the real estate industry. So I constantly look for those training opportunities still, and I can't imagine that that's ever going to change, because I consider myself a lifelong learner. I went back to school when I was 40 and got a master's. So, you know, for me, it's an ongoing, continual process. There isn't one day where I can foresee that I'm going to go, well, I know it all, I can just stop now. Not at all, because things change on a regular daily basis in our industry, in our world, in our economics, that the more we can dig into some of the knowledge that's available, the better resource we can be for clients. And I'm absolutely driven to be that better resource and try to develop my team opportunities for that as well. I lead a team at Exit, and we every week have a team meeting, and I invite different industry experts in to give us an idea of who they are and what they have to offer to our clients. So it could be a lender that comes in and talks to us about some of the opportunities that they have with their company to better serve clients, whether that be, you know, a CHAFA structured loan all the way up to a jumbo kind of opportunity, or title is scheduled to come in to talk about how we handle marijuana issues in our state, because that is definitely a significant issue that we come across. So I look for those different opportunities to bring in training and to participate in the training that gives me a more well-rounded understanding of how to better be that expert resource for my clients, as friends and family, and anyone else who's asking for assistance.
Awesome. So you mentioned a team, which I find really interesting, because at the time of this recording, you're less than 2 years as a full-time real estate agent. So
Right.
talk to me about who is your team made up of? Was that a plan right out of the gates, or did that happen sort of by accident?
So I kind of wanted to capitalize on my background in corporate because I've always been in a leadership role. And I was worried that I would miss that piece. And so when I was even considering what brokerage to hang my license with, that was one of the things at Exit that interested me, is that you can build a team within Exit and really build a business within a business, right? So while I'm not ultimately responsible for the activity of my team, we are independent agents working together to raise the bar of excellence when it comes to serving our clients. And, you know, we share best practices, we're learning together, we work open houses together. So it was really just kind of a easy in from my background to say, this makes sense for me. It gives me that leadership position that I could have been missing had I just gone into independent realty kind of activity. And each one of my team has joined for various different reasons or even options. So, you know, my husband is part of the team. He was laid off, got his license to help, right? But he doesn't work full-time in the industry. He's the only one on the team that doesn't. The rest of the agents are full-time. A friend of mine that I have known for 10 plus years was getting her license just after I got mine. And she was also interested in Exit. So she joined my team right from the get-go. I've met agents at open houses that just aren't happy with where they are with their brokerage. And, you know, they've then come over to Exit and become automatically part of the team. To, I've had a mortgage officer who had an agent that they knew that was really not gaining traction with where they were, and needed a little bit more of that team support, training, development, even though they had put in 3 years in the industry up to that point, right? So it's really about, are you a good fit for the organization of Exit, right? There is a fit for that. It's not the part-time agent who really just wants to do 2 or 3 deals a year and work full-time somewhere else as their plan. It's one thing to work part-time to build into full-time and have that as your long-term goal. It's another to just say, I'm getting it to help maybe friends and family a couple of times a year, but I'm staying where I am. That's a different mentality. And so we look for agents who are truly intending to work in this business as their full-time job, their career choice. And we can help develop the agents to get to that point. So I look for agents who are at their core customer service driven, because I can train technology all day long. I can train you how to read contracts and, you know, prep on the scripts if you're dealing with a buyer or a seller or other vendors in the industry. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to train you how to care. So at the core, you've got to have that just as your visceral, non-negotiable value that you have in yourself. Then you're a great fit for my team, because I want to know if I have something that happens with my family. You know, my parents are in their 80s. If I need to jump ship and hand my business off to someone and go deal with family issues, I know at my core that my team, every single individual on the team, can pick up my business and run with it. And I don't have to worry for a single second that their delivery to my clients isn't as if I was also in the room.
Yeah, I love that. I always say that when growing a team, the 3 things I learned the hard way sometimes that you can't train are conscientiousness, like caring, work ethic, you know, like you've got to go above and beyond in this business every day. You can't just have rules about when you decide to be off. It's like you just have to have that work ethic to go above and beyond. And then organization, even for a details lacking person like myself, I feel like, you know, you just can't be sloppy in this business. You've got to have your act together and make sure that you know, you can stay on top of everything that you need to stay on top of. There's a lot to stay on top of, you know? So,
or recognize that that is a skill set that you're lacking and find the resources to support you.
yeah, 100%. So,
You know, and that's the beauty of this is we have lots of resources that can plug and play when needed. And on the team, that's, you know, absolutely what we do. I am not the agent that's going to go door knocking or cold calling. I don't like it when it's done to me, so therefore I'm not driven to do it. But I have agents that thrive on that. So if I have a listing and I'm going to run an open house, I'm inviting my team members to come and door knock in the neighborhood. You know, I'm not going out to find the people in that manner. That's not my style, and I need to be true and authentic to who I am. But I'm also giving them the opportunity to be authentic with who they are and how they want to build their business.
sure. So you mentioned that everyone is an independent agent. So none of the agents on your team would be considered a traditional buyer's agent then?
Nope, no buyer's agents, no listing agents, unless they choose to really hone in on just that one aspect of the business. Nor do I take any credit for the work that they do. So it doesn't roll up into a joint numbers report, right? While I'm aware of what my team is doing, I'm not talking to them about volume and, you know, how that fits into my business plan. That's not it at all. I have my own business plan and strategy, and I work my plan. I don't take credit for anyone else, nor do I want someone taking credit for my efforts.
Sure. Now,
Yeah.
speaking of your plan, I wanted to ask you, in terms of, you know, we all have to do lead generating activities and get ourselves out there. Do you take a pretty structured approach to your days and weeks, or do you take a more organic approach to just naturally enjoying connecting with people and you're just constantly connecting? Do you know what I mean? Like some people just
Yep.
love connecting and it happens all day, every day without even thinking about it. And other people like to sit down and say, I have a minimum standard for what winning the day looks like or what winning the week looks like.
Yeah, and so, you know, we talked about that kind of lack of organization. That's where I'm not organized. I am very organic when it comes to what the opportunities of a particular day present. While I do schedule out my week, I do time blocking, I do, you know, kind of the expected activities of working in and working on my business. I really am open to meeting for coffee or going to an organized networking event. I'm a part of a couple of organizations in the Denver area, and so we meet weekly or monthly, depending on the group. And, you know, I'm not a member of each one of those particular organizations for any business I would get out of it. I'm there to really understand the resources that are available in our market to better serve my clients. If business comes out of those organized networking events, great, fantastic, I won't say no, but I'm not there just to get business. You know, I'm not going to walk around a room and go, do you know anybody that wants to buy or sell a house? Do you know anybody that wants to buy or sell a house? It's really about who are you? What are you looking for? How can I better help you? Because if I have a client that needs a new housekeeper, I need to know that the housekeepers are there still in business to serve my client, for an example. The more I can feed those different vendor partners, the more I know that they'll be in business when I have a client that needs them.
Sure. And then I love your brand as the Mama Bear. I like, it's warm and I don't know, I just love everything about it. But I'm curious, was that something that you decided to develop as sort of a brand right out of the gates? Did you put thought into, I'm going to have some kind of trademark when you got your license, or did you kind of like see other folks doing something like that that's catchy and then it happened after the fact?
So it was definitely after the fact. When I first went to get my license, it was more to prove to myself that I could pass the real estate exam and didn't really put a whole lot of thought into, okay, what does that look like when I pass? And I passed the first time and said, oh, well, I guess I'm in real estate. You know, it's something, okay, now I need to plan a business around this, you know. And the Mama Bear team piece of it came a little bit later. I went back and forth. Ideally, you're not a solo entrepreneur in the real estate industry. You're an S Corp, you're an LLC, you're something that makes sense for you with your tax accountant and legal advice. And for me, that is an LLC structure. So I had to, right from the get-go, think of a name, right? How am I going to create this business, and what's the unique name I'm going to use? And the name itself came out of, kind of historically, my daughter had a nickname of Bear, and, I'm 6'1", and it just kind of matches the tendency of people to be either intimidated or feel protected when I walk into a room. And I chose to go on the protection side of that, not the intimidation side of that. So really, truly building the Mama Bear brand around protecting clients with every move they make just fed me at such a core level that it became a no-brainer. Like, oh, that's the brand that I need to use, because it speaks to me and to my clients on so many different paths that I can't preconceive what that is. It's absolutely individual for each person, how they respond to that. Now, I am brutally direct and honest at times. And so not everyone can handle me when I'm brutally direct and honest. So that's okay, right? Because there are agents who are more on the calming, favorite aunt, girlfriend side. And that's great, because every single client has different needs and things that they respond to. That's just not my tribe, right? It's not the people that want to work with me are people I want to work with. And if I tend to intimidate someone, it's generally the agent or the client on the other side of the table. And that's, okay with me.
Yeah. Well, I talked about this a few times on the show, but one of the best coaches I ever had, Carl White, with the Mortgage Marketing Animals, said to me, he said to all of us, there's this 25% rule. 25% of people are going to love you no matter what. And 25% of people are never going to love you no matter what. And the 50% in between are fair weather friends. But at the end of the day, you can have a happy life and a happy business with just focusing on the top 25%. And when I heard that, I loved it, because I was like, okay, because, especially as a lender, there's a lot of competition, there's rate shopping, there's all kinds of things. And we try to lead with value, the best of our ability. And sometimes we feel like we've gone above and beyond and given it all we can, and we don't earn the business. And so I say to my team, it's okay. That's not our 25%. You just have to be okay with that. And same with, relationships with referral partners or anything else. It's like, you're just looking for your 25%. So if somebody moves on, it just means they aren't part of that. And that's okay, because 25% is enough,
Well, and I've always equated it to driving on the highway. You're on your own highway, and people come on the on-ramps and they go off the off-ramps to different roads. And while they're on the same highway as you, you're intended to share the space, whether it's business or personal. And when they take their off-ramp, you're not intended to follow them. You are staying on your own path. So it's okay when the ebbs and flows come with, business or personal. It's either way you can look at that. But especially in business, if I'm not connecting with the client about what they want and serving them to really connect with them at that level, then I'm not the agent for them, and they need to look for someone else. It's okay. I try to not take it personal. Sometimes it's personal. But, it's the largest financial decision many people will make in their entire lives. So they need to be very comfortable with who's the front runner of the representation they're going to rely on.
I love that.
And if they're not trusting me at some level, then I need to bless and release. It's okay. I can't spend my energy chasing what someone else does or doesn't feel. I need to let them go so I can spend my energy with the people who I connect with.
I'm going to put that one in my back pocket for parenting too.
right?
That's a good one. I mean, seriously, I'm imagining myself regurgitating that highway story to my 6-year-old daughter, in about 6 or 7 years, they went off the off ramp. It's okay. Don't follow them. That's
or
good.
they're on that overpass. You can see them, you can wave, but you're not connecting. It's okay.
Yeah, I love that. So
being a parent made me a better manager. Being a manager definitely made me a better parent. You learn skills on either side.
Yeah. And sometimes we learn the hard way and make mistakes in both arenas, and we just keep on trying and getting better.
Just hope there's no roadkill.
Right, exactly. In terms of building your personal brand, I love what you're doing. Are you leveraging social media to build that brand? And if so, in what arenas are you playing, and how are you going about doing that?
So absolutely, I am on social media on a regular, daily, almost too often basis, personal and business-wise. Primarily, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. I have dabbled a little bit in Instagram, but I have to admit, I am in my 50s, and Instagram puts me into a tizzy. So I do what I can to keep up with it, but at some point I got to bless and release that too.
Yeah. Well, I'm intrigued by Twitter though, because I honestly, Twitter puts me into a tizzy.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what does that look like? So for me, Twitter is like so ADD. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like, it's making me spastic. So what are you doing in that space? And, how are you seeing a response to it? Like, are you just sharing little tidbits from stories of the day and little educational bits, or how are you using Twitter?
Yeah, it's a variety. It could be a blog post. It could be, a really interesting house tour that I just went on, and I want to share an image of something that I never would have thought was going to be in the house when I walked in the front door. Maybe I saw something elsewhere and it just made me laugh, or it's something that I think I want to share with others. It's just a variety. I don't have this cookie cutter kind of approach to what I do on social media, with the exception of when we've had a success for a client. I like to celebrate that. So I do post photos of the client, the home, whatever is going on. I try to do that on a regular basis because not all of my clients are on social media. So I want to make sure that we're celebrating each one at the same level. Twitter, though, is really an instant in time, similar to Instagram in my mind. Instagram, I think, is even more simple moments. But Twitter, you can actually engage with people. You're not engaging when it's on Instagram, to me. That's an instant moment in time. But Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, they all have that kind of feed back and forth. So you can engage with whoever is participating in that particular moment. And I like that,
I think you need
and then I have, websites, and I'm on Zillow. I'm a premier agent with Zillow, and my team participates on that as well. So it's really about being where the client is at the time that they need the help.
I think you need to give Instagram a chance. I'm just saying, Tasha, because the thing about what you're doing is, what I like about Instagram, or what I'm learning, I guess, to enjoy, is that there's an opportunity to tell a story there. And there is engagement. There's people responding, and then there's private messaging and things like that. And there's a lot of interesting folks out there. If you listen to the podcast episode, I want to say it's like 36 or 37 with Amanda Bajorquez out of New York. She is leveraging Instagram to build her brand, but much like you, her brand isn't about how good she is at selling homes necessarily. Her brand is about serving. And so her message is very value adding. It's always providing value. And it's fascinating to see her build her herd, or her following of people that are just eating up the value that she's sharing, and her partner. But anyways, it's fascinating. So, and I think you're doing something really unique with your Mama Bear brand. And I feel like, people need to know about it. You need to get out there.
Yes, ma'am. I'll look at it.
Are you blogging too? You mentioned a blog.
Yeah. So we have tools that are provided through Exit for the agents. So I started blogging from the very beginning of joining Exit. And then, I have a personal blog as well. I really hone in on tips and tricks for real estate, though. I really seriously not trying to get off onto tangents of lifestyle and other choices that you could go down that rabbit hole. I see that a lot, and it doesn't serve who I am as an agent as well as an individual. That's why I don't do multiple things at once. I am in real estate. That's what I do. I don't do an MLM. I don't do another job, because I don't do things well if I don't just put 100% of my energy into it. So the blogging supports that activity. I may have, I have the 10 lessons learned on, how to be safe at an open house, to how to work with a lender, to how to clean up your house and get it ready for selling. It's just lessons that I've learned in going through this industry. It's not rocket science. It's not brand new information. It's just said with my voice.
Sure. Now, how does your team embody that brand, the Mama Bear brand? Because you said it's the Mama Bear team. So are they also marketing themselves with the team name, or with themselves as individuals, or both?
So it's a variety. Each team member has the option of using the brand if they choose to. I don't put any restrictions on that use of it. The format of the use is absolutely controlled. But, if it really serves someone at their core, that they feel connected with that brand identity, who am I to stand in their way of using that? We have, kind of half and half. Half of the team uses it and uses Mama Bear signs and their listings and things like that. And the others choose to not participate on that piece of it. It's okay. Again, we're all independent agents, and we make our own decision on how we want to build our independent business. So the opportunity is there, and I encourage additional team members as they join to really put thought into that, whether they want to leverage that. Now, the only exception to that rule is Zillow. On Zillow, it's absolutely the Mama Bear team brand, because we are a team and we serve clients as a team from that platform. So if the agents are going to accept connection with consumers through the Zillow platform, then they are absolutely going to represent that they're part of the Mama Bear team.
Got it. That was one of my next questions. Are you open to seeing your team grow?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm constantly having conversations with mortgage lenders and folks who are thinking about taking their licensing exam all over the place, that, if there's an agent that's struggling with being out on their own little island somewhere, not feeling supported, feeling that they just need that team camaraderie and support around them for whatever reason, then I love to entertain the conversation to figure out, one, can I just help you kind of Band-Aid or fix where you are today so you don't have to make that move? Maybe there's just one little thing that's maybe missing. Or, if an agent is looking for a new home, then we're absolutely open to having that conversation as well. I encourage them to come to a team meeting and meet the team and really see the environment, because that's a big part of what joining my team looks like. That being said, I can help agents, and I do have agents that are throughout the US and Canada. So it's not that they have to physically be in the Denver office. It can be an agent sitting anywhere in the US and Canada, and I can plug them in either from a Zoom call kind of format to the team, or we can just share best practices of what's happening in our market, and they can apply it in theirs.
Awesome. I love that. Well, if folks want to get in touch with you to soak up some of that Mama Bear juju, or want to pick your brain about joining your team or buy or sell real estate, what's the best way to find you?
So through the social media channels, for sure. I'm out there and about there. you know, and I will be on Instagram. I promise I'll get active. But also they can connect through my website, which is mamabearteam.com. And the mama is M-A-M-A. So it makes it really easy. MAMABEARTEAM.com.
I love it. Well, thanks again for joining us today, Tasha, and sharing all your passion and energy and wisdom and all that good stuff. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you for including me. I had fun.
Awesome. Well, for all you listeners out there, as always, I implore you, if you're enjoying this content, hook a sister up and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, leave a review. It helps us continue to attract amazing guests like Tasha and continue to bring great content to you all. I appreciate you as always. Have an awesome day.